45 ACP versus 357 Magnum and full-size handguns. And what I have today is the Speer Gold Dot ammunition. I decided to go with the 45 Auto 230 grain versus the 125 grain 357 Magnum. Even though they're not really comparable in most people's minds, I say they are because those are very common rounds. Now the 45 ACP is using the short barrel bullet, even though it's not a short barrel load, and the 357 Magnum is using what they consider to be the deep curled hollow point. A little bit different design. If you had to compare these to Hornady ammunition, the short barrel bullet's kind of like the FTX critical defense bullet, while the deep curl hollow point is sort of like the XTP bullet. And you usually only see the deep curl hollow point gold dot in 357 Magnum, 357 SIG, and stuff like that. So we're going to test these rounds in full-size handguns, a 5.3 inch Glock 41 and a 4 inch Smith & Wesson 686. So we're going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of accuracy and velocity we get at the same time. And I did want to point out something. Sometimes I get inundated with comments about my accuracy. What I use for targets is actually a miniature silhouette. So what may appear to be about a 4 inch group on a full size is actually about a 1 inch group. So let's see what kind of velocity and accuracy we're going to get. And then we're going to go through the Juggernaut box, which contains a 1 3/4 inch pack of bologna, covered by 4 layers of denim, followed by a 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard. Kind of gives the resistance to a bullet like pectoral muscle and sternum would do, and then into water jugs to catch that projectile. And how this compares to ballistic shells, that bologna pack represents about 6 inches, and each subsequent jug represents about 3 inches of ballistic shell. So if we can get the back of jug 3, we'll have about 15 inches comparison and penetration to ballistic shell. So let's test the Gold Dot and full-size handguns and see what we get. So let's get started. Alright, I'm standing about 5 yards from the target, about 4 yards from the chronograph. See what kind of velocity and accuracy we get with the Gold Dot 45 ACP. .803, 804, 808, 797, 811. So pretty low in velocity, but as you would expect, it's very soft recoiling, very pleasant to shoot. Let's see how the 357 Magnum compares. All right, 357 Magnum Gold Dot. We'll see what we get for velocity and accuracy with this. .1439, 1425, 1449, 1433, 1428. So we're definitely dealing with a full house load for sure. Recoil wasn't too bad. 39 ounce Smith & Wesson, so pretty easy to shoot too. Let's hit the ballistic box and see how they compare. All right, 45 ACP. We'll see what we get through the ballistic box, see what it does to the bologna and all that, which water jug we catch it in. So here we go. That splashed back quite a bit. And I made the shot that I wanted to make here, and the back of the bologna pack is just, it is completely destroyed. There's the fiberboard, just a massive entrance hole. It looks like we already had expansion when it entered. So it already started expanding in just that little amount of bologna. And the first jug would indicate that it was expanded as well. That is just massively huge damage. You don't see that a lot with 45 auto. Jug 2, looks like we're drifting down a little bit to the right. Jug 3, and it looks like it exited out the side of jug 3 here. So it's kind of drifting a little bit to the right, and I can see it on the box there, laying in the bottom of the box. And what we got is really good expansion. So it's kind of hard to tell exactly how far this would have penetrated if it would not have veered off. But I would say, because it passed out the back of the third jug, we can clearly call it that it did penetrate to about at least 15 inches. So it's getting the penetration and it's getting the expansion, which is really good for how low the recoil was. Now let's try the 357 Magnum and see how that compares. All right, 357 Magnum, we'll see how this compares to the 45 ACP. So here we go. Wow. I'm covered in bologna. I don't know where the rest of it went. There's only, it's over here. There you go. That's damage for sure. There's the exit through the fiberboard, so we'll see what we got in water jugs. Jug 1 is on top of the box. We don't see that very often. And it completely blew the bottom out. Even though the impact was a good 1.5 inches up from the bottom, it still blew the bottom right out. I see a hole in jug 2, and it's completely empty. I see that a lot with really high powered rounds. Jug 3. It came off the bottom of jug 3, and it looks like we bounced off jug 4. A little bit of a dent in the bullet, again, is just laying there in the bottom of the box. And we have expansion, perfect expansion, as I expected to have. So very good gold dot flowering, very good expansion. These rounds excelled, they performed quite well. The 45 ACP had a little bit less recoil, very soft shooting. The 357 Magnum wasn't that bad, about an average full house low, maybe a little bit less felt recoil than that to me anyways. Just extensive damage, very extensive damage. So both of these definitely beat out a 9mm for damage. The 357 Magnum is just a beast. Very powerful round, very good round. And because it's a little bit tougher of a bullet, it'd be a very good bullet for penetration through hard barriers as well. So overall, I'd say both these rounds did really, really well. So I'm very happy with this test. So as always, comment, share, and like. And thanks for watching.